Obviously, I wish they were all kind of like that. They won't be, but good to see a lot of kids get involved and a lot of faces. We have a lot of things to clean up, but certainly pleased with a lot of aspects. I know it's Auburn's 800th victory. There's been a lot of great staffs, coaches, players that through the years have contributed to that, and we're happy to be a part of those 800 wins. I think we're only the 13th program in FBS to have that, so it puts you among the elite. Can't say enough about our student section. I mean, they stayed. They're here 2 hours before the game when we get here, and they stay to the very end. And our band and cheerleaders and student section, they're incredible, and obviously our fans are always incredible. And so 5 newcomers with a receiving TD, most team passing yards in an opener. It should have been more. We had some drops and two bad decisions by our quarterbacks. Solid day. I thought defensively we were okay. Too many penalties, and I think DJ would agree that we miss a line too many times. And you expect some of that in the opener because you're really not sure what you're going to see, and you may have not worked everything that you see, but we got to be able to adjust and line up correctly. And I didn't think we harassed the quarterback as well as I had hoped. So, but man, great. Obviously, celebrate a win with our team. The 800th in school history it's a good night, and always good to play in Jordan-Hare.
Coach, just the 5 penalties tonight for your team in total, and the 2 turnovers were late in the fourth quarter when the game was out of hand. Was this the type of clean football you wanted to have in week 1, or were you,
I thought
you wanted to see some
offensively,
more?
I didn't want the 2 turnovers. That still irritates me. Doesn't matter what group you're with. We work that constantly, and it's what we do on Mondays every day offensively. Every Monday is ball security Monday, and it's frustrating to see those 2 turnovers for sure. I don't like that being on our stat sheet at all. I thought the 5 penalties, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's, I didn't think the roughing the passer, we talk about that all the time. You cannot pick the quarterback up, and that's just a foolish penalty that we can't have. And our DBs sometimes get a little sloppy and are not playing the ball, and they're too handsy, and that caught us a couple of times there, but so we got to clean those up for sure. But the 2 turnovers, I don't care what group you're on. That the expectation is we take care of the ball with our offensive it.
So a lot of times in games like this, coaches want to get out of it with no injuries and get to play a lot of players. That's always the case. Is there something else you can add to that as a head coach you look for in a game that's so overly matched that you can take away from this?
Well, I thought the execution early on offensively, particularly in the passing game, and we didn't call a lot of runs really. And, if we did, they gave us the RPO. And I thought our execution of that, and young kids who've not played in front of the 89,000 here and in this atmosphere, they seem to handle it pretty well. So we're going to need those guys to play really, really well this year as our schedule is going to get really difficult pretty quick. I need to watch the film and see kind of Peyton's got to clean up a few things too, and that frustrate me. And the thing is, he knows better. We missed a wide open spot right on 3rd down. That is his first progression, and he knows that, and I've got to get him to where that doesn't happen. Those are going to be critical 3rd downs in coming weeks. And he needs to get himself protected in the RPO game, and he knows how to do that. And that's a little frustrating when, he still threw a touchdown, but he's going to take a shot in coming weeks that's not going to be very pleasant.
Coach, a lot of offense tonight. But do you feel like you maybe got out of this one without showing much on tape? Obviously, it was a 60-40 run-pass ratio in favor of the run. Is that indicative of what we can expect moving forward?
It
Or
was 60-40 to the run.
I'm sorry, pass heavy.
Oh, no, I would like to be the exact opposite, truthfully. But you guys that have listened to me, I don't care. I don't really get hung up on the rushing stats. I get hung up on what we average per run. Because, I mean, we can sit here and say, hey, we rushed it 60% of the time and only averaged 2 yards because we're running into bad boxes and stuff. That's not who we are. I believe we averaged almost 10 yards a rush tonight. And so that's really good. But there were a lot of runs called that they gave us the RPOs, and that's who we are. And but if we average 9 yards a carry for any game, I'm going to be really happy. But ideally, I'd love to be 60-40 the other way.
We've seen a lot over the years where coaches will get in games like this and just run the football and run a clock out, but you ran the offense and allowed guys to continue. How important is that for those young guys, young wide receivers, and really everybody to continue to execute the offense?
Yeah, so it's a balance in that, because the last thing you ever want to be seen, is like we were trying to do something that was unsportsmanlike, but it's game one, and Hank needs to run the offense, and Holden needs to run the offense, and Malcolm Simmons needs to know what RPO to run. And so, we kind of just let them. We didn't intentionally throw any deep shots. They jumped off sides, and obviously that's what we do on that. But the other throws were truthfully just in the RPO game and just trying to run the offense.
Hey, Hugh. Malcolm, Perry, and Cam all get in the end zone tonight. As someone who hit the recruiting trail hard specifically to upgrade at the receiver position, how satisfying was it for you tonight to see all three of them make an impact?
It was really satisfying, and I enjoyed they're just young kids, man, and they just are enjoying playing and going through the experience, and it's fun to see them. And I thought Dre set a good tone for that room, and Robert is those two are really good leaders. And obviously we've talked about how talented those young kids are, but I didn't, if I could have dreamt it up and said, hey, I'd love for all three of them to score, that would have been really nice. I don't know that. I had a feeling that Cam would, because I knew we could take some shots with him. Wasn't sure that we could get all of them in the end zone, but it's really nice to see that they were quite excited for each other too, which I love.
How important was it for the offense really and Peyton to get the ball down the field and really add that explosive element to this offense attack?
Yeah, there's nothing like confidence. And that's something that we've always been good at is creating explosive plays, and we weren't very good at that last year. And it's certainly an emphasis of when I brought Nick's on. He knows how I feel about that. He knows that's the first cut up I watch on Sundays. Is I want to see the explosive reel from last year, and I want to already know in my mind how we are going to try to create those. And I think the players see that and hear me talk about that and hear Nick's talk about that, and they understand it's an expectation. And if our receivers in those plays are in one-on-ones, they're open. That's the rule. And these shot plays are explosive opportunities, and so that I think anytime you have a game, even if it's like this, where you are able to create those, that it only builds confidence in the kids, and maybe they believe in our scheming and play calling better, and makes them make better plays. I don't know, but it was good to see that happen.
Hugh, y'all started Tyler Johnson at left tackle, but Percy got in early. Y'all were rotating. Just what do you think of those two guys? Just kind of snap reaction and the offensive line as a whole.
I hadn't watched the film on that. It's really hard for me to tell. I didn't, in my conversations with Jake on the run game, we had a plan, and they played us a little different. And so But again, we threw so many RPOs even on runs, so it was really hard to tell. But again, we averaged 9 yards a rush, so they had to do fairly well. Tyler and Percy, we're going to need both of them. So I'm not hung up on who goes out there first, or I want to grade the film and see who does the best. But we're going to need both of them.
Just how encouraging was it to see Town just have a really good night stepping in his first collegiate game?
Yeah, he seems to. So we've had some kickoffs that have kind of gone squirrely in practice and stuff, but he gets in this stadium and it's like he's right at home and doesn't miss a thing. So that's really good to see. We're going to need him early in the season for sure.
You had mentioned that the defense had a few misalignment issues, but overall seemed to play fairly well. Is there anything that you particularly liked that you saw from the defense, and then maybe something that you, just as of right now, would want to see fixed?
Well, I didn't think we tackled too poorly, so that was good. But I guess the biggest thing to me is I was a little shocked that we didn't crush the pocket a little better. And I might be wrong when I watch the film, but it kind of felt that way. But overall, it was a solid night, and clean up the misalignments, and we had a couple times where it's just technique stuff where we brought somebody off the edge, and he's got the high train right to up the field on the naked or anything, and he tracks the running back. We got to clean those things up, but all in all, we got a lot of kids in and held Isaiah out and got his ankle some more rest. So hopefully we can learn from the mistakes we did make and be improved next week.
Coach, going off of that, on Monday, you said it wasn't clear who or what this team is at this point. It's going to take Saturdays to prove it. Obviously, a lot of Saturdays still left, but what do you take from this one? What was your message to the team in terms of getting to where you would like to be more Saturdays ahead?
Handle what's right in front of us. Learn from what we didn't do well tonight, and take confidence in what we did do well, and let's grow from that. But we certainly hadn't arrived yet, and but right in front of us is some great opportunities in our home stadium, and got to handle the successes and failures both the same way. They both can be your enemies. They both can be your friends. So we'll see how the leadership handles us having a good opener, but going to get much harder soon. Yep, thank you guys.